It'll be 1 to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Louis Frankie, ESPN.com, all the way back, straight back. Jeff, we've had a couple of years of the chase and a couple of tweaks in the system. Are you happy with it? Would you like to see changes? And what do you think of the bonus points for the wins?
Well, you know, the whole win bonus point thing is really interesting to me. I think we ought to reward teams for winning. I'm a proponent of that. The only trouble with that is you do create a situation where in a year like this, you know, you got a guy 80 points out on some other people. That's a long way. I'm not sure that if you compare our sport to other sports, I'm not sure that's not a bigger bonus than a home field advantage. You know, if you think about a Super Bowl, or you think about particularly a Super Bowl or the NCAA championship, they don't play the final game on a neutral floor, typically. You know, so there needs to be some reward. I just think we have to make sure it's not too big of a reward. I know that's counterintuitive to what everybody in here believes, but if the ultimate goal is to make the racing as competitive as it can be, and to create a playoff system as close and as compelling as it can be, the smaller variance in points that we have, the better championship race we have. So, you know, we can talk about how great it is to award more points for winning, but in a year where somebody wins 9 more races and eight or 9 more races and 26 races over somebody else, they earned it. Don't get me wrong, they earned it, and but that creates a situation where the championship may not be as close as it would have been.
Go to the front here with Nate, then we'll go to the back couple, move our way here to Dustin, and then back. Go ahead.
And to be clear, I'm not calling for less bonus points. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just pointing out that there is, you know, we for years I've heard that we ought to have more points paid for winning and all that stuff. You just got to remember there is a negative side to it.
Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today.
Good job.
All right. I'm about a week late on this one, but the Carla Edwards-Kyle Busch thing, how do you compare that to other rivalries that you've watched, not just that you've raced against, but you've seen as a fan, and, you know, why are rivalries important in NASCAR?
Well, the interesting thing about our sport is that rivalries change. I mean, you know, really when I think about it, you know, who was Dale Earnhardt's rival? I mean, who was the one guy that you look at and say he was always, I don't have a person. It changes. It's because we race each other every week, and because our sport's so unlike every other sport in that all the main players are here every week. So Duke Carolina play twice or 3 times a year. We race each other 38 times a year. That's a whole another world in what a rivalry is. A rivalry is much more. In college football, rivalry is 100 years old. In racing, it's 6 weeks old. So, you know, it's a big difference in what the definition of rivalry is. Kyle Busch, I almost said Carl Busch, Kyle Edwards. Anyway, I'll get focused. I was thinking about Kyle doing a flip, but I don't know. I mean, to me, you can call it a rivalry if you want to, but, you know, it hadn't been all that exciting to me. I mean, I'm sorry. If it wasn't for Bristol, what would be so great about it? I mean, it's my opinion.
Got a couple over there, then we'll move around.
Jeff Temporel with the Times-Dispatch in Richmond. As you move forward into the chase, can you tell me what you need to do to get back on track?
Well, that's a good question. You know, like I said, you know, last week was, you know, I really believed going into the race that we had a really good car, and we didn't perform. I will tell you that, you know, we ran better at Bristol here in the last race than we did in the race that we won. We ended up getting in a wreck. At Pocono, we ran better in the second race than we did in our first race, and we had a penalty on pit road that messed us up. At Michigan, we ran way better in the second race than we did the first race, and late in the race we had a problem and prevented us from having a good finish. So, honestly, what I have to do as the driver is I have to objectively look at where we are, and my look of it is that we're a step off of where we need to be in comparison to the very best car. But I do believe our results don't indicate it. And at the end of the day, results are the only thing that matter. But I do believe that we are better than we were 6 months ago or 4 months ago. So, what we have to do is to much the same thing that we did in 2006. We have to step it up right now. I mean, well, that's not necessarily true. We have to step it up next week. Going into 2006, we were our best. In the chase, and we put ourselves in position to win. So that's what we have to do. We just have to perform a little better, and we have to execute. We did a great job of executing the first half of the year, or the first half of the regular season. The last third of the regular season, we haven't executed. We've actually run better, with the exception of California, in the last 6 or 7 races, but we haven't executed as well as we did early. So the first thing we have to do is start executing again, and then we have to improve a little bit on our speed as well.